Forget what you learned in school. This is history's unhinged side.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Lifespan, the weekly podcast that digs up the dirt on the most outrageous, chaotic, and downright WTF ever lived, all told in a fun and fascinating way.
That's right.
Tonight, get ready, because we're plunging into the bizarre journey of a true historical superhero.
Yeah.
The kind of figure whose real exploits
make
even the wildest fiction seem a bit tame.
That's right. We are about to explore the truly legendary story of Léo Major.
Léo Major, okay.
You might not know the name yet.
Right.
But by the end of this, you'll understand why his actions have become the stuff of legend.
Okay.
Imagine a one-eyed French Canadian from Montreal who repeatedly faced down impossible odds.
All right, so we're not talking about some fictional character.
Yeah.
This is a real guy.
This is a real guy.
Okay, so Léo Major, one-eyed French Canadian.
From Montreal, yeah.
All right, what kind of impossible odds are we talking about here?
Well, we're talking about a guy who took on the German army during World War II.
Okay.
Not just once, but again and again and again.
Oh.
And then he went and did it all over again in Korea.
Oh, wow. So multiple wars.
Multiple wars, yeah.
Okay, so
this is a guy who just, I guess, didn't know the meaning of the word impossible.
This is going to be good. So buckle up, because this bizarre journey into Léo Major's life is going to redefine what you thought was even remotely possible within the context of actual historical events.
You got it. To really grasp the sheer audacity of what Léo Major accomplished, you need to picture the backdrop, right?
Right.
World War II, particularly in 1944 and 1945, was a period of unbelievably brutal and relentless combat, especially for the infantry on the front line. The chances of survival
incredibly low.
Terribly low.
Yeah. All right, so set the scene for us. Where do we find Léo? What's he doing?
So Léo Major was just a private.
A private, okay.
In the Régiment de la Chaudière, a French-Canadian unit.
Okay.
That landed on Juno Beach. On D-Day.
D-Day, wow.
Can you imagine the sheer chaos and terror of that landing?
Yeah.
And then the relentless push inland through Normandy.
So this is intense already.
It was an absolute meat grinder.
Meat grinder.
Yeah, for those guys.
Wow.
And then, as if that wasn't enough.
It couldn't get worse, right?
Oh, it gets worse.
Oh, no.
It gets worse. The autumn of 1944, the Battle of the Scheldt.
The Battle of the Scheldt, okay.
This was a critical campaign, often overlooked, fought in these miserable, waterlogged conditions.
Oh, wow.
All to open up the port of Antwerp.
The port of Antwerp, okay.
It was during this intense fighting that something truly remarkable and, frankly, quite bizarre happened to Léo Major.
Okay, let's unpack this. What happened?
During a reconnaissance mission.
Reconnaissance mission?
Yeah. A phosphorus grenade exploded near him.
Phosphorus grenade? Those are nasty.
Yeah.
All right, what happened?
His left eye was gone.
Gone.
Just like that.
Okay.
Standard military procedure.
Yeah.
Would dictate an immediate evacuation back to England.
Right, you're done.
End of service, yeah. But Léo's reaction, well, it was the stuff of legend.
Stuff of legend, okay.
He flat out refused to leave.
Refused to leave what?
Refused to leave. The testimony suggests that he told his commanding officers.
Yeah.
Without hesitation.
Yeah.
That he only needed his right eye to aim his rifle.
Oh, wow. Okay, but they didn't send him home.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Somehow, unbelievably, they actually let him stay.
What?
Think about that for a moment.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
This is a moment that just screams WTF.
Yeah.
On level 10.
Yeah.
In a military environment, usually so strict, a private not only refuses a direct medical order, but somehow convinces his superiors to let him remain in active combat.
Remain in active combat? Oh my gosh.
With such a significant injury.
Yeah, losing an eye.
It really speaks volumes about just how desperate and chaotic the war had become.
Absolutely. All right, so we're in 1944. He's lost an eye.
Lost an eye, yeah.
But he's still fighting. What happens next?
So fast forward to spring 1945.
Okay.
The Allies are pushing their way through the Netherlands.
Pushing their way through, liberating town after town.
Liberating town after town.
Okay.
This sets the stage for what's probably Léo Major's most famous exploit.
Okay.
The liberation of Zwolle.
The liberation of Zwolle, okay.
But even before that happened.
Even before that, yeah.
His actions were already causing serious waves.
For anyone who heard about them.
Indeed, in the field.
Yeah.
The immediate reaction to Leo's exploits,
right.
this incredible mix of disbelief and utter awe.
Disbelief and utter awe.
Likely punctuated with some very colorful French-Canadian exclamations.
Oh, I bet. Okay, so what had he done at this point?
His single-handed capture of 93 German soldiers.
93 German soldiers, hold on.
93.
He captured by himself.
By himself?
93 German soldiers.
During the Battle of the Scheldt.
The Battle of the Scheldt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Earned him his first Distinguished Conduct Medal.
DCM.
DCM, that's right. And for those who might not know, that's a recognition second only to the Victoria Cross.
Wow. Okay.
For incredible gallantry in the face of the enemy.
So this is huge already.
Huge.
And then we get to Zwolle. Right.
And then Zwolle. And what's even more mind-boggling is that his actions in Zwolle later earned him a bar to that very same DCM.
A bar to the DCM.
Okay.
He won it twice.
He won it twice, 2 separate times.
That kind of double recognition.
2 DCMs.
It's exceptionally rare in military history.
Wow.
What's fascinating here, and something to really consider, is that he reportedly refused to accept his first DCM.
Refused?
From Field Marshal Montgomery himself.
From Montgomery himself, wow. Apparently, Leo had developed a rather low opinion of Monty's leadership during the campaigns.
Okay.
The sheer audacity of a private refusing a medal from such a high-ranking officer.
Yeah.
It's just astounding, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's incredible. Okay, so let's talk about Zwolle.
Whoa.
What was the reaction there?
The reaction in Zwolle was pure, unadulterated gratitude from the population.
They were grateful.
They were liberated.
Yeah.
With minimal bloodshed.
Yeah.
Seemingly all thanks to the actions of this one Canadian soldier.
Wow.
They didn't care how improbable the story sounded. They were finally free. And for that, they were eternally thankful to him.
Right, that makes sense. So he liberates this town single-handedly.
Single-handedly.
He wins his second DCM.
Second DCM.
You would think this guy would be a household name.
You would think, right.
But that's not the case.
Quite remarkable.
Yeah.
Léo Major remained largely a footnote in the historical record for decades after the war.
Decades.
Decades. Outside of his own regiment.
Yeah.
And of course, the grateful people of Zwolle.
The grateful people of Zwolle, right.
He went back to Montreal.
Okay.
And lived a quiet, unassuming life.
Okay.
But in more recent times, his incredible story has exploded in popularity.
Okay.
Becoming a real source of immense pride and a true folk hero. Especially in Quebec and the Netherlands.
Okay, that's good to hear. He's getting recognition now.
He's getting his due.
All right, so he's almost reached this mythical status, right?
Yeah.
We've heard names like Le Fantôme-Borgne, the One-Eyed Ghost.
Yeah, the One-Eyed Ghost.
The Québécois Rambo.
The Québécois Rambo, that's right.
Oh, so this...
It really captures the imagination, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So his story's being taught in schools in Zwolle.
That's right. To the younger generation.
And there's a growing movement.
Growing movement.
To finally give him the wider recognition he deserves here in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So let's talk about the how.
The how.
Yeah.
How does he do it? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
How on earth did one man accomplish such extraordinary feats?
Yeah.
Now, the events themselves,
right?
As unbelievable as they sound, are verified. Through his medals, numerous eyewitness accounts, and the enduring gratitude of the people of Zwolle.
Right, right.
So what we're going to delve into now are the different theories surrounding the methods behind these incredible actions.
I like it. Okay.
Theory number one.
Theory number one, we're calling it the berserker rage, grief-fueled rampage.
Berserker rage. Wow. Okay.
And this specifically focuses on the liberation of Zwolle.
Okay.
The story here is that on the night of April 13th, 1945.
April 13th. Okay.
Leo and his best friend.
Okay.
Corporal Wilfred Arsenal bravely volunteered for a reconnaissance mission into the still occupied city.
Into occupied Zwolle, yeah.
That's right. Tragically, disaster struck almost immediately.
Oh, no.
Arsenal was killed.
Oh, no. By German fire. Very shortly after they entered Zwolle.
Oh, so this is right at the beginning.
Right at the beginning
of the mission.
Wow.
And the theory that many hold is that this devastating sudden loss triggered an overwhelming surge of both grief and intense rage within Leo.
So he loses his best friend and snaps.
Yeah.
What happens?
Fueled by this intense emotion,
Yeah.
Léo essentially went berserk.
Berserk, okay.
He picked up Arsenal's weapon.
Oh, wow.
Loaded himself up with as many grenades as he could carry.
As many grenades.
And just unleashed this one-man terror campaign.
Against
the German garrisons stationed throughout Zwolle.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's a powerful image, isn't it?
It is. So how credible is this theory?
Well, the credibility is actually quite high.
Quite high, okay.
Grief and rage are incredibly powerful motivators.
Yeah.
And the sheer intensity.
And almost suicidal nature of his subsequent actions that night.
Yeah.
Really do become more understandable.
More understandable.
When you look at it through this lens.
Through this lens, right. So grief and rage could have fueled him, but it might not have been the whole story.
That's right.
What else could have been going on?
Theory number 2.
Okay.
Master of psychological warfare.
Master of psychological warfare. Okay, I like this.
This one also focuses on Zwolle.
Okay.
This theory suggests that it wasn't just blind rage that drove him.
Okay.
It implies a more calculated
yeah.
and strategic approach.
Strategic approach. Oh.
Léo wasn't just running around firing wildly.
Yeah.
But he was strategically using chaos as his primary weapon.
Chaos as a weapon. Okay.
He allegedly moved throughout the town,
right,
tossing grenades, firing his machine gun from constantly changing locations.
Okay.
To create the illusion of a much larger Canadian attack.
A much larger attack. Oh, I see. So he's making them think.
Making them think.
Yeah, that they're totally surrounded.
Totally surrounded, yeah.
Okay, so how did he do that?
Well, the story goes that he actually captured a German officer.
Captured a German officer. Okay.
And took him to a local bar.
To a local bar or what?
A detail that's so utterly bizarre it almost has to be true.
Yeah, that's pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
All right, what happened at the bar?
Somehow managed to convince this officer.
The officer, yeah.
That the entire town was completely surrounded.
Completely surrounded.
By a massive Canadian force. After that, he reportedly proceeded to attack the local SS headquarters.
SS headquarters.
And set it on fire.
Okay, so not only was he using these kind of clever tactics to make the Germans think there were more Canadians than there were.
That's right.
But he's also taking out key targets.
Taking out key targets.
Okay, so this psychological warfare angle, how credible is this?
Well, the credibility of this theory is also very strong.
Strong, okay.
And it likely worked in conjunction with the first theory.
With the grief and the rage.
The grief and the rage, that's right.
Yeah.
He seems to have channeled his raw emotional response in a very tactical manner.
Tactical manner, okay.
We also know that he made contact with the Dutch resistance during his actions.
The Dutch resistance, right?
Which suggests at least some level of coordination and planning. And crucially, you need to remember that the German garrison, which was estimated to be quite significant in size, did fully retreat from Zwolle overnight.
So it worked.
It worked. This wasn't just random acts of violence. It was terrifyingly effective psychological warfare.
Yeah.
That achieved a very real outcome.
A real outcome, the liberation of the town.
The liberation of the town.
Okay, so that's two theories. What else could explain this?
Theory number 3 offers a slightly different angle.
Yeah, okay.
The right place, right time, right amount of crazy theory.
Right place, right time. Oh, okay.
This one suggests that perhaps the German garrison stationed in Zwolle was already on the verge of withdrawing.
Already on the verge of withdrawing.
For their own reasons.
Okay.
The explanation here is that the German forces in that area might have been significantly demoralized.
Demoralized, yeah.
Running low on supplies.
Right.
And actively looking for an opportunity to retreat.
Retreat, right.
Before the main Allied advance inevitably reached them.
Yeah.
Léo's undeniably bold actions, while incredibly significant, could have essentially been the final catalyst.
The final push.
That pushed them to withdraw, rather than being the sole and complete reason for their departure.
So he was just in the right place at the right time.
Right place, right time.
And took advantage of the situation.
Took advantage of the situation, yeah.
Okay. How plausible is this?
It's definitely possible.
Possible, yeah.
That external factors played a contributing role.
Right, yeah.
However, it's important to recognize that this doesn't in any way diminish the incredible audacity of what Léo chose to do.
Right.
Because most soldiers, after witnessing their comrade killed, would have simply reported back.
Right. They would have retreated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Léo, on the other hand, chose to escalate the situation.
Chose to escalate. Wow.
An almost unbelievable degree.
Okay, so that's 3.
3 theories down.
3 theories down.
Way more to go.
All right, give it to me. What's the last theory?
Theory number 4, which we've playfully dubbed.
Playfully dubbed, yeah.
The unkillable Highlander theory.
Unkillable Highlander.
Or perhaps, more simply, general badassery.
General badassery, all right.
This theory moves beyond Zwol.
Beyond Zwol, okay.
And looks at Léo Major's entire military career.
Okay, so this is looking at the big picture.
The big picture, exactly.
Okay, I like it. What's the theory?
The essence of this theory
Yeah.
is that some individuals simply seem to possess
Yeah.
an almost superhuman
Superhuman, okay.
level of resilience, fearlessness, and capacity for survival.
Survival, right.
Léo Major
Yeah.
certainly appears to fit squarely in that very rare category.
Okay, what's the evidence for this?
Just consider his refusal to be evacuated
Right.
after completely losing an eye.
Yeah.
His single-handed capture
Single-handed capture. Right.
of those 93 German soldiers we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
And then his later equally incredible exploits during the Korean War.
The Korean War, right. So he just keeps going.
He keeps going.
He doesn't quit.
He doesn't quit.
And he's unkillable.
Unkillable.
Okay, so general badassery. How credible is this?
Given his entire life story,
Yeah.
it's disturbingly plausible.
Disturbingly plausible, right.
The sheer consistency.
This is insane.
His unbelievably brave actions.
Yeah.
Across multiple different events.
Multiple events.
Even spanning different wars.
Different wars.
Really does suggest a fundamental
Yeah.
and perhaps unique aspect
Unique aspect, yeah.
of his core character.
So it's possible he was just that badass.
It's possible. It's crucial to acknowledge
Okay.
that while some of the very specific narrative detail
Right.
might be open to debate,
Yeah, lost to the fog of war.
lost to the fog of war, exactly,
Right.
the undeniable outcome,
Outcomes of
the liberation of Zwol,
Yeah.
with remarkably minimal Allied casualties,
Yeah,
the
wow.
capture of numerous enemy soldiers
Yeah.
on multiple occasions,
Right.
the strategic holding of Hill 355 in Korea
It's 355. Yeah.
against overwhelming odds.
Against overwhelming odds.
And these concrete achievements speak incredibly loudly
Right.
for themselves.
Yeah. So regardless of exactly how he did it,
Regardless of how he did it,
he did it.
he did it.
He pulled it off. All right. So let's shift gears a bit and talk about Léo Major's lasting impact.
His legacy.
His legacy, exactly.
Right.
And it's absolutely clear that in the city of Zwol,
Zwol.
in the Netherlands,
Yes.
he remains an eternal hero.
Absolutely. He was granted honorary citizen status in 2005 by the city.
Honorary citizen. Okay.
A prominent street in Zwol
Yeah.
now proudly bears his name,
Wow.
Léo Major Quartier.
Léo Major Quartier.
And every year,
Yeah.
there is a formal commemoration held in his honor,
In his honor.
a testament to their enduring gratitude,
That's incredible. He's become part of the city itself.
part of their fabric,
Yeah.
their identity.
And this is all despite his relatively quiet post-war life.
That's right.
He returned to Montreal,
Montreal,
worked as a pipe fitter
a pipe fitter.
in relative obscurity.
Obscurity raises fame.
Raised a family.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, he very rarely
Very rare.
spoke about his wartime experience.
Unless directly asked.
Unless directly asked. Wow. So humble.
Humble guy.
So it was really only in his later years.
Later years.
And sadly, after his passing in 2008,
2008.
his incredible story
Began to gain traction.
wider recognition. And recognition here in Canada.
That's right. And this resurgence in his fame,
Yeah.
largely fueled by documentaries
Documentary.
and online storytelling platforms.
A power of the internet.
Power of the internet.
And now he's become a real source of inspiration
Inspiration.
and representation.
Absolutely.
So we have books detailing his life.
Books, yeah.
And most notably, Luc Lepine's biography.
Luc Lepine, yeah.
Documentaries like
Léo Major.
The Phantom Born.
Le Fantôme Bon, okay?
That's right.
And he's become a legendary figure
A legendary figure.
within the Canadian Armed Forces.
Deservedly so.
And it's not hard to see the pop culture potential here.
Oh, yeah, the pop culture potential is huge.
Right.
I mean,
His exploits just scream movie adaptation,
movie adaptation,
video game, graphic novel,
He really is the ultimate real-life action hero.
So what does Léo Major symbolize?
What does he symbolize?
What does he symbolize?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Is it individual courage?
Individual courage, yeah.
Taken to this unbelievable extreme?
So the extreme, yeah.
Or is it like a testament to French-Canadian determination?
French-Canadian determination, yeah.
Or is it just a reminder of the chaos and the unpredictability of war?
I think it's a combination of all those things.
All those things, okay.
He stands as a potent symbol of what a single individual,
yeah.
when driven by truly extraordinary circumstances and possessing this unbelievable level of resolve can achieve.
Yeah, it
reminds us that history isn't just about grand strategies.
And strategies, no.
Orchestrated by generals and sweeping political movements.
Yeah.
It's also profoundly shaped by the actions of those who simply refuse to yield. No matter the odds.
All right, now let's dig into the deep cuts.
Okay, the deep cuts.
Those fascinating little details that add even more layers.
To
this already unbelievable story. Let's start with the exploit.
Okay.
That actually earned him his very first DCM.
His first DCM.
Before his roll. What happened there?
This is a crucial part of his legend.
Right.
During the Battle of the Scheldt.
Yeah.
After he'd already lost his left eye.
Already lost an eye.
He was sent on a mission
to
retrieve a lost patrol of Canadian soldiers.
Lost patrol?
Instead of just finding them, he stumbled upon a significant German garrison. Now, what did this already injured soldier do?
Yeah, what did he do?
He captured the commanding officer. Of that garrison.
Okay.
Then used him as a human shield.
As
he negotiated the surrender of the entire German force.
Oh my God.
As if that wasn't enough.
It can't get worse, can it?
It gets worse.
Oh no.
He then engaged in a fierce firefight with some remaining SS troopers.
Oh, wow.
Who refused to surrender. And after all that, he then single-handedly marched 93 German prisoners.
93 again?
All the way back to the Canadian lines.
Wow.
Completely on his own.
Oh my gosh. So this is after losing an eye.
That's
incredible.
Let that sink in for a moment.
Yeah, that's hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the first DCM story. But there's another one, right?
There is another one.
The broken back incident.
Yeah.
Also during the Scheldt. What happened there?
His Jeep hit a mine.
The
initial reports stated he had broken his back in no fewer than 2 places.
2 places? Oh, wow.
And had also broken both of his ankles.
Oh my God.
In the explosion, the medics declared, "That's it.
You're done.
Your war's over."
Right.
But Leo, being Leo, refused evacuation.
Of course he did.
Somehow managed to escape from the field hospital.
Wow.
Against all medical advice.
Right.
And then hitched.